In the vast galaxy of Valoria, many planets shone bright with life and technology, but none were as famous as the royal planet of Valira. Here lived the Valorian royal family, rulers of many star systems. The people looked up to their leaders, with respect and sometimes fear. Among the royal family was Princess Alara, a young woman unlike any other. Alara was blind. She could not see the colors of the stars or the faces of her people. She was also weak in her body, unable to walk or move like others. She used a special chair that floated gently behind her as she moved around the palace. Because of this, many nobles and visitors stayed far away from her. They whispered that she was unlucky and might bring shame to the royal family. Some even said she was a curse. But Alara was not weak inside. Though she could not see, her mind was sharp and full of dreams. She listened carefully to every sound around her, the soft hum of machines, the whispers of the guards, the voices of servants. She knew things others did not notice. Her heart was brave, and she wanted more than anything to meet people who would see her for who she really was. The palace was a large and cold place. It had tall glass walls showing the stars outside, but Alara never saw them. She spent most of her time in a quiet room filled with books and soft music. Her caretakers were kind but careful, always protecting her from harm. The royal family rarely visited her, afraid that others would see the princess's disabilities and judge them harshly. Alara felt lonely. She knew many people in the palace, but none truly knew her. She wished to have a friend, someone to talk to, someone who could understand her. The other nobles did not dare come near. They thought she was weak and helpless. One day, a new group arrived on the planet. They came from a far place called Earth, a small planet in the Milky Way galaxy. The visitors were different from Valorians. They wore simple clothes and moved with confidence. Their leader was a man named Marcus Hayes. Marcus was curious about the royal family and the stories he had heard. When he learned about Princess Alara, he felt a strange pull toward her. Unlike the others, he did not see her blindness or her disability as a weakness. He saw a person waiting to be known. He asked to meet her, but the court was shocked. No one had asked to see the princess for many years. They warned Marcus to be careful and told him it was not proper to disturb the royal princess. But Marcus did not listen to their warnings. He wanted to understand Alara. He believed that sometimes the greatest strength is hidden where no one looks. In her quiet room, Alara heard the footsteps coming closer. She felt a mix of hope and fear. Maybe, this time, someone would see her for who she truly was. Captain Marcus Hayes and his team stepped down from their sleek spaceship. The planet Valoria was unlike anything Marcus had ever seen. The sky shimmered with strange colors and huge towers rose high into the clouds. But Marcus was not here to admire the view. He was here for a mission, to build an alliance between Earth and Valoria. Marcus had heard many stories about Valoria's royal family, especially about Princess Alara. He knew she was blind and disabled, and that no one dared to approach her. But Marcus did not see her as weak. Instead, he felt curious. How could a princess live so alone and isolated? What kind of person was she? The palace guards looked Marcus over carefully. They were tall and serious, dressed in shining armor that reflected the strange light of Valoria. "You are here to meet the princess?" one guard asked with a harsh voice. "Yes," Marcus answered calmly. "I want to speak with Princess Alara." The guard frowned. "No one sees the princess without permission. It is forbidden." Marcus smiled politely. "I have permission from the council, and I believe she deserves a visitor." The guard did not know what to say. Marcus's words carried a strong belief that made them hesitate. Inside the palace, Marcus was led through long, quiet halls. The walls were made of smooth, white stone, glowing softly. Servants hurried past, whispering about the human captain. Everyone wondered why Marcus wanted to meet the princess who was hidden away. Finally, Marcus reached a large door. A kind-faced servant opened it gently and led him inside. The room was warm and filled with soft music. Princess Alara sat in her floating chair, surrounded by books and small machines that helped her. Alara's face was calm but curious. She could not see Marcus, but she felt his presence. "You are the visitor?" she asked softly. "Yes," Marcus said. "I have heard about you. I wanted to meet the real person, not the stories." Alara smiled faintly. Most people only whispered about her blindness and her disability. Few dared to talk to her. But Marcus spoke with kindness and respect. They began to talk. Marcus asked about her life, her thoughts, and her dreams. Alara told him about her love for books and music, about the stars she could not see, and about her wish to help her people in new ways. Marcus listened carefully. He was impressed by her strength and wisdom. She did not need pity. She needed understanding and trust. Their conversation lasted for hours. Outside, the palace was quiet, but inside, a new friendship was forming. Marcus felt a connection with Alara, a bond that went beyond words or appearances. The court was watching closely. Some nobles whispered that Marcus was foolish to waste time on a disabled princess. Others wondered if this human might change things in ways no one expected. But Marcus did not care about gossip or fear. He saw Alara not as a princess to be pitied, but as a leader to be respected. And he hoped that together they could do something no one else dared to try. Days passed after Marcus's first meeting with Princess Alara. The palace buzzed quietly with rumors about the human captain and the blind princess. Some nobles were angry, others were curious, but no one dared to approach Alara. Not like Marcus. Marcus kept visiting her. Each time their talks grew deeper. Alara found in him a friend who did not judge her. Marcus saw in her a mind full of ideas and a heart full of courage. One afternoon, Marcus said something no one had ever dared to say before. "Alara," he began softly, "there is an ancient Valorian tradition called the bond. It is a connection that shows trust and friendship between two people. It is very special. Only nobles in good health usually take part in it." Alara's chair floated closer to him. "I know about the bond," she said quietly. "But no one has ever asked me to join. They think I am not strong enough or worthy." Marcus looked directly at her. "I want to bond with you. I want to show the court that your disability does not matter. That strength comes from inside." Alara was surprised. Her heart raced. This was a bold request. To bond with a human was unheard of, and even more so for a princess who was blind and disabled. The court would never allow it. "I don't know, Marcus," Alara said, unsure. "It might cause trouble. The nobles could be angry. They might stop your alliance." Marcus shook his head. "Some changes are worth the risk. I believe this. Bond can change how people see you, and how they see us, humans and Valorians alike." For the first time in years, Alara felt hope. She imagined a world where she was not hidden away, where her mind and spirit mattered more than her body. "We'll do it," she said at last. "I will bond with you." When Marcus told the court, there was shock and outrage. The nobles whispered that Marcus was disrespectful, that the princess would be dishonored. Some warned that the bond was a sacred ritual, not to be taken lightly. But Marcus and Alara did not back down. They prepared for the ceremony with quiet determination. The palace buzzed with tension. Some guards watched closely. Others whispered among themselves, wondering what the future would bring. On the day of the bond, the great hall was filled with important nobles and officials. The room was grand, with high ceilings and glowing walls. Everyone waited to see what would happen. Alara sat in her floating chair at the center. Marcus stood beside her, calm but strong. The ceremony began with ancient words spoken by the elder priest. Then the two reached out their hands. As their hands touched, a warm light spread between them. It was a sign that the bond was real. The court fell silent, watching this strange and powerful connection. Alara felt something she never felt before, a sense of strength and belonging. Marcus's presence made her feel brave. The nobles still whispered and stared, but something had changed. The princess was no longer unseen, she was beginning to shine. The moment their hands touched during the bond ceremony, the room seemed to hold its breath. A soft light glowed between Marcus and Ilara, a sign of the ancient connection forming. The nobles in the great hall exchanged surprised glances. Some faces showed shock, others doubt, and a few were filled with quiet hope. Ilara felt the warmth of the light spread through her. It was like a gentle strength flowing inside her, something she had never known before. Marcus stood steady beside her, his calm confidence giving her courage. After the ceremony ended, the court erupted in whispers. Many nobles were angry. How could a human bond with our princess, and one who is blind and disabled? They hissed. Some said it was a dishonor to the royal family. Others feared this change could weaken their power, but Ilara ignored their voices. She looked at Marcus and smiled. For the first time, she felt truly seen, not as a weak princess, but as someone powerful and important. Over the next days, Ilara and Marcus spent more time together. The bond was not just a ritual, it was a connection that grew stronger. They could feel each other's emotions and thoughts in ways words could not express. Ilara discovered new strength in herself. She learned that the bond gave her a clearer sense of the world, even without her sight. She could sense Marcus's feelings, his courage, and his hope. It made her braver. Marcus also changed. He understood Valoria in new ways, through Ilara's unique view of life. He saw that true strength came from the heart, not just from power or perfect bodies. But the court's leaders were not happy. They tried to stop the bond from growing. Secret meetings were held in dark rooms. Plans were made to break the connection and remove Marcus from the palace. Ilara heard about these plans. She did not feel afraid. Instead, she felt determined. The bond was not just for her and Marcus. It was for every person who had ever been judged or left behind. One night as the palace was quiet, Ilara spoke to Marcus. "They want to break us apart," she said softly. "But I won't let them. This bond is our strength." Marcus nodded. "We will face them together. No matter what happens, I will stand with you." Their words were a promise to fight for each other and for a better future. The next day, Ilara held a small gathering in her room. She invited a few trusted friends, both humans and Valorians. She shared her vision for a new Valoria, where all people were respected and valued no matter their differences. Her friends listened and began to believe. Slowly, the idea of change started to spread. Ilara and Marcus knew the path ahead would be hard. The court's power was strong, and many still feared what was different. But together, they were ready to face the challenge. Because sometimes, the greatest courage comes from choosing to stand where no one else will. Days after the bond ceremony, something unexpected began to happen. The connection between Marcus and Ilara grew stronger, deeper, and more powerful. It was as if their minds and hearts were learning to work together in ways no one had seen before. Ilara felt it first. Even though she could not see, she started to sense things more clearly. She could feel the emotions around her, the fear in the nobles who did not accept her, the hope in the few friends she had made, and the calm strength in Marcus's mind. It was like a new sense had opened inside her. Marcus noticed it too. When he was near Ilara, he felt a calmness and clarity that helped him think faster and understand more deeply. He could feel her thoughts, her worries, and her dreams without her saying a word. This was more than just friendship, it was something special. One afternoon, while they were alone in Ilara's quiet room, Marcus reached out and touched her hand. "Ilara," he said softly, "I think the bond is more than a tradition. It is a power, something that can help us both." Ilara smiled, her face glowing with hope. "I feel it too. It's like we are connected in ways I never thought possible." As the days passed, their bond helped Ilara discover abilities she never knew she had. She could sense the movements of people nearby, almost like seeing with her mind. She could feel danger before it happened and find comfort even in the darkest moments. Marcus shared his strength with her, and she gave him new ways to understand the world. Together, they became stronger than they had ever been alone. But not everyone was happy about this. The court nobles grew more fearful. Some whispered that the bond was unnatural and dangerous. They worried that if Alara's new strength became known, it could change the balance of power forever. One night, a group of nobles met in secret. "We must find a way to break the bond," one of them said angrily. "If the princess becomes too powerful, our control will end." Alara and Marcus did not know about this meeting, but they felt the tension growing around them. The bond gave them a shared sense of danger, and they prepared for whatever might come. Despite the threats, the people who supported Alara began to believe in her power and her vision. They saw that her disabilities did not hold her back. In fact, her bond with Marcus made her stronger and wiser. Alara decided to use this new strength for good. She started planning ways to help her people, to bring peace and fairness to the galaxy. "Marcus," she said one evening, "this bond is not just for us. It is for everyone who has been left out or forgotten. Together, we can change the future." Marcus nodded. "I believe that too, and I will stand by your side no matter what." Their bond was awakening a new hope, one that could shine even in the darkest corners of Valoria. The court nobles could no longer hide their anger. The bond between Marcus and Princess Alara had become a symbol of change, and many feared what it meant. They saw the growing strength in Alara and the way Marcus stood by her side with quiet power. To them, this was a threat. One morning, the head of the nobles, Lord Vexar, called a secret meeting in the deepest chamber of the palace. The room was dark and filled with tension. "We cannot allow this bond to continue," Lord Vexar said sharply. "A blind, disabled princess joined in ritual with a human, someone outside our race and tradition. This dishonors the throne and weakens our power." Another noble, Lady Mirren, nodded. "The people are already confused. They do not understand why Marcus was allowed near her. If we do not act quickly, the entire court may lose control." They agreed on a plan to break the bond and separate Marcus from Alara. They would use every tool, politics, lies, and even force if necessary. Meanwhile, Alara and Marcus continued to grow closer. The bond was no longer just a ceremony. It was a real connection that gave them strength and hope. Alara felt she could face anything with Marcus beside her, but the court's hatred was rising. Rumors spread among the people saying that Marcus was using dark powers to control the princess. Some whispered that Alara was weak and being used. Alara heard the whispers. She felt the cold eyes watching her in the halls. It hurt, but she did not show fear. Instead, she held her head high. One evening, Marcus found Alara alone in her room, looking out at the stars she could not see. "Do you feel the anger from the court?" he asked gently. Alara nodded. "Yes, but I will not give them the power to scare me. This bond is stronger than their hate." Marcus took her hand. "We must be careful. They will try to break us, but we will fight together." The next day, Lord Vexar visited the palace council. He spoke loudly and clearly, calling for Marcus to be removed and the bond to be ended. But the council was divided. Some saw the truth in Marcus and Alara's bond. They believed in a future where all beings, no matter their race or ability, could stand equal. The debate grew heated. Marcus stood firm, speaking with respect and courage. Alara's voice, though quiet, carried power as she shared her story and her dreams. In the end, the council decided to watch and wait, refusing to break the bond for now. But the threat was clear. The court's anger was far from over. That night, as the palace slept, Alara whispered to Marcus, "This is only the beginning. They will try harder." Marcus held her close. "Then we must be ready. For the sake of Valoria and Earth, we cannot let fear win." Together, they prepared for the challenges ahead. The bond was not just their strength, it was a light against the darkness rising in the court. The days after the council meeting were tense. The court nobles whispered and watched Alara and Marcus more closely than ever. Their anger had not faded. Instead, it had grown into something dangerous. One night, as the palace lights dimmed and most of the people slept, a group of masked figures moved silently through the shadowy halls. They were loyal to Lord Vexar and had been sent to stop the bond at any cost. Their goal was clear: to capture Marcus and eliminate the princess's influence. Alara sensed something was wrong. Though she could not see, the bond with Marcus gave her a sharp awareness. Her heart beat faster and she reached out with her mind, feeling Marcus's calm strength nearby. Marcus, too, felt the danger. He stood quietly in Alara's room, ready for whatever came. They did not speak, but their bond was stronger than words. Suddenly, the masked figures burst into the room. Guards who were loyal to Alara and Marcus quickly responded, blocking the intruders. A fierce fight broke out. The palace guards moved with skill and speed, protecting the princess and the human captain. The masked attackers were strong, but the guards' loyalty was stronger. Alara's voice rang out, clear and steady. "Protect the bond. Protect our future." The attackers were pushed back and forced to flee into the dark halls. The palace was safe for now. In the silence that followed, Marcus looked at Alara. "They will not stop, will they?" Alara shook her head. "No, but we are not alone. People are starting to believe in us." Word of the attack spread quickly. The people who supported Alara and Marcus grew in number. They saw the princess's courage and Marcus's loyalty. Many came forward offering help and protection. The palace became a place of both danger and hope. Alara's friends worked harder to keep her safe, while Marcus planned ways to protect the bond and the future it promised. One day, Alara sat with her closest friends, speaking quietly. "We must show the court and the people that fear cannot win, that the bond is more than just a ceremony, it is the beginning of something new." Her friends agreed. They began to organize meetings and spread messages of hope and unity throughout Valoria. Marcus joined Alara in these efforts. "Together, we can change how the galaxy sees strength and power," he said. "It's not about the body, but the heart and mind." Alara smiled, feeling stronger than ever. "And with you by my side, I know we can face anything." But deep in the shadows, Lord Vexar watched. His anger had turned to obsession. He vowed to destroy the bond no matter the cost. The struggle between old fears and new hope was only beginning. But Alara and Marcus were ready, because sometimes defending what you believe in means standing against the darkness, even when it feels like the whole world is against you. The palace was filled with tension as whispers grew louder. The nobles who opposed Princess Alara and Marcus tried to spread lies about the bond. They said it was dangerous, unnatural, and would bring chaos to Valoria. But Alara refused to let fear control her world. One morning, she asked the council for permission to speak to the people. She wanted to tell them her truth, the story of her life, her blindness, her disability, and the bond with Marcus. It was a bold request, but the council agreed, hoping she would fail and silence herself. In the grand hall, hundreds gathered. The air was thick with curiosity and doubt. Some people were hopeful, others were afraid. Alara's heart beat fast, but she stood tall in her floating chair. She began quietly. "I have lived much of my life hidden away. Many think I am weak because I cannot see or walk like others. But I am stronger than they believe. My mind is sharp, and my heart is brave." She paused, then continued. "The bond I share with Marcus is not a weakness. It is a connection of trust, hope, and strength. Together, we have found a power beyond what any of us imagined." Marcus stood beside her, his presence calm and steady. Alara reached out and their hands touched, a glowing light shining between them. The crowd gasped. "I ask you to look beyond what you see," Alara said. "See with your hearts. Judge, not by what is different, but by what is true." Slowly, the crowd began to change. Faces that once showed doubt softened. Whispers of hope replaced words of fear. One elder stepped forward. "Princess Alara, your courage shows us a new way. Perhaps it is time to welcome change." Others nodded. The court was divided, but the message was clear. Alara's truth had touched many. That day marked a turning point. People who had been silent found their voices. They spoke out for acceptance, for unity, and for a future where everyone could belong. Alara and Marcus knew the road ahead was still difficult. The old fears did not disappear overnight. But now, the light of truth was shining brightly. In the quiet moments after the speech, Marcus said, "You were incredible, Alara. Your words reached hearts that fear could not touch." Alara smiled. "We did it together. The bond gave me strength, but it was your belief in me that made this possible." As they left the hall, many came to offer thanks and support. The princess, who was once unseen, was now a symbol of hope. The court's backlash was not over, but Alara's courage had begun to break through the darkness. Together, she and Marcus would face whatever challenges came next, knowing that truth and trust were the strongest weapons of all. After Princess Alara's powerful speech, a new feeling filled the palace halls: hope. The people of Valoria began to see her differently. The bond with Marcus was no longer a secret or a scandal. It became a symbol of unity and strength. Leaders from Earth and Valoria worked together closely. Marcus and Alara met often, planning the future of their two worlds. Their bond was not just personal. It was a bridge between two very different cultures. One day, the Galactic Council called a special meeting. The best leaders from many planets gathered to discuss peace and cooperation. Alara was invited to speak alongside Marcus, a clear sign that their alliance was real and respected. Standing in front of the council, Alara spoke with quiet power. "Our worlds are different, but we share the same hopes. We want peace, progress, and respect for all beings, no matter their shape or ability." Marcus added, "The bond between Alara and me shows what is possible when we trust and support each other. Together we can build a future where everyone has a place." The council listened carefully. Many were moved by their words and the strength of their bond. The leaders agreed to work together to share technology, knowledge, and protect their planets from common threats. Back on Valoria, the Alliance brought many changes. Scientists from Earth helped improve medical technology. New schools opened where all beings could learn together. People who had once been afraid of change began to welcome it. Alara's disability was no longer seen as a weakness, but as part of what made her a wise and powerful leader. She used her unique perspective to solve problems and bring people together. Marcus and Alara continued to grow stronger in their bond. They shared ideas, dreams, and plans late into the night. Their friendship became a foundation for the new alliance between Earth and Valoria. One evening, as they looked out at the stars from the palace balcony, Alara said softly, "I never thought I would feel this way. Like I belong, like I matter." Marcus smiled. "You have always mattered. The whole galaxy is finally seeing it." Their story inspired many. Across the stars, beings with disabilities, differences, or doubts found hope in Alara's courage. They believed that they too could be leaders, heroes, and changemakers. But Alara and Marcus knew that building a new future would take time and hard work. Old fears did not disappear completely, and new challenges would come. Still, the alliance was a start, a promise that together they could overcome any obstacle. As the night deepened, Alara and Marcus stood side by side, ready to face whatever the galaxy would bring. Their bond was not just a symbol, it was a force that would shape the future. The galaxy was watching. After the alliance between Earth and Valoria, led by Princess Alara and Captain Marcus, a new chapter had begun. People from many worlds looked to them as symbols of hope and change. Alara sat in the Grand Council chamber, her floating chair glowing softly under the bright lights. Around her sat leaders from different planets, beings of all shapes, sizes, and abilities. For the first time, many of them had come together to share ideas and work for peace. Alara's blindness and disability no longer made her different in a bad way. Instead, they made her unique. Her wisdom and courage inspired everyone present. She spoke clearly, her voice steady. "We are not defined by our limits, but by our courage to rise above them. Together, we can build a galaxy where everyone belongs and is respected." Marcus stood beside her, proud and strong. The bond between them had grown into something rare and powerful. It connected not just two people, but two worlds. The council agreed to form the first Interplanetary Unity Council, a place where all beings could come together to solve problems, share knowledge, and protect peace. Alara was chosen to lead this new council, a sign of trust and respect from across the galaxy. Her first act as leader was to create programs to help those with disabilities and differences. She wanted everyone to know that their voices mattered. Schools, hospitals, and workplaces began to change, becoming more inclusive. Alara also worked to improve communication between planets, using her bond with Marcus as an example of what was possible. Their partnership showed that understanding and respect could overcome fear and prejudice. One day, standing on the balcony of her palace, Alara looked at the stars she had never seen but always dreamed of. She thought about how far she had come, from a hidden princess to a leader who changed the galaxy. Marcus joined her, placing a hand gently on her shoulder. "You have done amazing things, Alara. The galaxy is better because of you." Alara smiled. "We did it together. And this is just the beginning." As the sun rose on a new day, the people of Valoria and Earth celebrated. The story of the blind, disabled princess and the brave human captain was told across planets. It inspired others to believe in themselves and to stand up for what was right. Alara knew challenges would come. Not everyone would accept change easily, but she was ready. With Marcus and the bond they shared, she had the strength to face anything. The future was bright, a future where everyone, no matter their abilities or origins, could shine. And so, a new era began, one built on courage, trust, and the unbreakable bond between two worlds.